Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for making some time this afternoon to listen to this talk. Going to try and keep it to 30 minutes and then some Q&A after that. And it's really just to give you a high level exposure to the potential of virtual poster sessions, but also how to think about them as a wider event. So we'll just be walking you through some simple ideas of how you can make these more sociable and more enticing. So, um, so I'll just get into it right now. So I'll just quickly walk you through the agenda. We'll make a short introduction, and then we'll explain kind of the three levels of a poster session event, which is really breaking it down into the actual poster. And then the next level is the poster room. And then the highest level is the poster lobby. And that's where you can really start doing some very creative things to really make a poster session an actual event. And then we'll walk you through some samples just to kind of inspire you, but also show, live and interactive what these can look like and what the user experience is around that. And then we'll close it off with just, the 5 steps of how these events are created and deployed. And then we'll do a Q&A around that. So as an introduction and an overview of Acadiat, we've worked with many, many universities. We've been actually around for 10 years now. Our background is within the classroom, and we've, over the last year, done a lot more work around virtual events. So we can talk around kind of virtual events, but also the pedagogy of those virtual events and how they can be used for faculty, but also for students for learning, and how that all kind of works together. So we've been running, I don't know how many we're running now at any one time, 20 or 30. So we are actually starting to see some very creative events. And one of the beauties of Acadia, our roots are helping people and organizations showcase themselves online. And the beauty of our platform is that you can actually create virtually any type of event and any type of experience. It's like Lego blocks. And therefore, you can get very creative as much as what the user experience is, but also the branding of the event, and really go beyond just presenting information, but actually make these very sociable and very meaningful events. So yes, poster events, but we're also running them for a cross section of groups, typically liberal arts and STEM, but we're also doing nursing, music, fashion, architecture. So you can really expand your idea of what can be presented in a poster, and that it's not just a static pictures and structure, but these can actually become living, interactive infographics type of tools. And we're also running career fairs, virtual career fairs, open houses, school celebrations, and activity events. And we'll show you some examples around that. And in particular, that's relevant to a lot of pod members is faculty development. So we're actually doing a lot of faculty development virtual events. And so we're not going to get into why and the background of poster sessions. We actually ran another webinar kind of getting into those details of designing and running and engaging online poster session. We can give you links to that. We're going to keep this one simpler, and it's really how looking at a poster session and how you can make it a much bigger event, how you can make it more engaging as a poster session. So just a little bit of the basics and the nomenclature, and just to help you kind of climatize, how to structure an event. Really think of it in 3 levels, where you've got the subcomponent, which is what we call like the poster, but that can be, and that's managed by the individual. the individual presenting their research. And I'll get a little bit deeper into that, but think of that as kind of the base component. And then the next level up is the room or the session room where you put together all the different posters together, and they have a thumbnail and you can kind of scroll through them and navigate them, but you package them into one room. And then you go one further level up where one of the rooms is a poster, but you can have these other entities in there. And we'll get a little bit into that of what that lobby would look like. But when you think of a virtual event, think of these three fundamental layers. So just kind of a little bit diving in just to orientate you towards the poster and what can be done at the poster level. And then we'll walk you back into the event. But you can actually do some really amazing things within, if you want to call it the booth or the individual kind of profile, where you can see the poster is central to that within the existing kind of structure of what you understand is created for, let's say, a live event, but you're just, let's say, created in PowerPoint, you burn it to PDF, and then you load it in. And that's the central kind of communication. But the beauty of that these are loaded into what we call a showcase is that you can accessorize this. You can wrap around it some really cool communication and contact points. And what we're highlighting here in red is you can use contact button, which is a direct email to the poster creator from the attendee who's viewing it, or they can have a web link and join directly. And often within poster sessions, there's a defined period of time, let's say over a 1 or 2 hour period of when everybody has a live link, and you connect directly through the booth or the showcase that has the poster, and you can just one button, contact the person. And then we also have 2 other features. One of them here is comments. We'll show you in a live portion a little later. And then we also have a 4th portion, which isn't being used here, where you can insert your calendar, your web calendar functionality, Calendly, Team Scheduler, and so on, where through this that they can look at your schedule and organize an appointment with you. And then the other level is, so the beauty is that you have this cohesive structure around the poster, but you can really accessorize this. And so yes, poster is central to it, but you can attach the research paper. You can embed some really cool things, PowerPoints, where you can get the full animation, Google Maps. But one of the things that is really coming out as we do more and more of these is what is becoming a critical component to a successful poster session is that the organizers are actually asking the students to create a short video. And this is actually where virtual poster sessions are starting to become seen as having a pedagogically superior experience or learning outcome versus live events, is that you ask the students in the same context of how you ask them to create a poster within a cohesive, limited space, and really succinctly put your research within this narrow band of words and structure. Ask them to do the same thing in video, 3 to 5 minutes, you attach it. And the beauty of this is as the attendee comes in, they look at the poster, but then they go into the video, see your overview in the context in 3 to 5 minutes, and then they join the meeting, and then the Q&A happens then. And that's what really makes these a really great user experience. So that's kind of the context of the poster. And then you step up from there to the poster room. And so the beauty of having a poster room is that all the posters are together. And as you can see here, they're all kind of beside each other, and it allows for users to really kind of get a bird's eye view, and really just the same as if they're entering a live event, just kind of walk up and down the aisles and just, look left, look right, and just kind of get a high level view and hone in on the posters that, catch their eye, that they're really interested in. And you can really make that a very virtually a very attractive way where they're just kind of exploratory and they just navigate through. But the other aspect of it is that in our particular case, you have some very powerful search and sort and filter capabilities where you can instruct the students or the poster creators to categorize them. Often in these events, you organize 4, 5, or 6 kind of core categories. And then using the keyword search, you can get subsets based upon that. And we'll show you a particular room with 60 or 70 posters in it. It's really cool how you can organize the event where you can have a large group of posters that are distinctly different and still have a very cohesive, fantastic experience for attendees. And the beauty is, as you can see, they can advertise when they're live and have a live call and just drop in and choose those ones where they can just drop in and say hello and ask questions. And so that's kind of the at the second level. And then the higher level is what we call the poster lobby. And this is where you can really make a poster session an event and make it collegial, add a social aspects of it, and really make it more than just you're just dropping in and looking at posters, and you can make it an event. And often for the events that we run, they're opened up a week ahead of time so people can come in and peruse, and then they come for the live portion. And typically what you see is this bookend structure, which is there's an initial set of tiles or showcases, let's say a keynote speaker or a welcome package to kind of orientate people, get them understanding what the event is about, simple introductions. And then you can add, a little extra social aspect of it. In this particular case, we're saying like a panel discussion. So maybe your poster session is around a particular theme. You can organize some live sessions. Often what they like to do is organize it before the live portion of the poster room. So in here, we're saying posters will be live from 2 to 4, run a panel discussion from 1 to 2. So people come in for the panel discussions, they're kind of thinking about the theme of it. And then as the panel discussion wraps up, then they start dropping into the poster room. So these are some of the things that you can do to really make, to set up it as an event and manage the traffic flow and really pull people in to create a much greater critical mass of attendees so that when you do have a live portion to the poster room for the poster session, that you have that traffic and engagement so that individuals who are managing a poster showcase aren't sitting there for too long. In fact, for a number of events, when we're advising on the organizing of them, we walk them through some of the strategies or tactics. Do you want to have 2 poster rooms where the group in poster 1 is from 2 to 3, poster group 2 is from 3 to 4, and the group from group 1 is going into group 2 and vice versa, so that you're creating that minimum traffic, or you put 2 or 3 students on one Zoom call so that they're never by themselves and they're grouped together so that they can listen to other conversations, just keeping them engaged. These are some of the conversations we have. And then structurally, we try to encourage organizers of poster sessions to think of, okay, this bookend or the sandwich structure, close it off. Don't leave it hanging after 4. Pull them in for a short discussion, give out some awards, ask them to fill out a survey, get them into a discussion. What did they like? What were their observations? Try and make it a community feel. And we're getting feedback from many schools that that's very enticing. We we have a package, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, for $500, where you can have 5 of these tiles within a lobby. And it's a nice cohesive type of structure, very inexpensive. And programs really like that. So now I'm just going to kind of gave you that high level kind of orientation of how to think of a poster session as a virtual event. I'm now just going to show you some live kind of demos of what this looks like actually live. And I'm just using this example first from Quantum Days, which was nanotechnology, and it was senior researchers and professors from across North America. And in this event, and this is just the poster room. And as you can see, you can just kind of scroll through. They're just kind of organized where you can just peruse and so on. And it's interesting, they were given a fair degree of latitude for a lot of these events. Organizers say, just take a picture of your poster and put it on your thumbnail that shows up in the room. But in this particular case, they're saying giving full latitude, think of artifacts or pictures that better represents your work, and put that in, and organize it that way. And as you can see, you can put in keyword searches. So in this, there's 60 or 70 posters. You could just go, this was for quantum, maybe like material. So now it's just picking up those that in the tags come up quantum materials. See, these are all the ones for quantum materials. So you can see how you can have a lot of posters in one room, but you can actually very successfully manage them in a very short group. And then highlight those that are live, that have a meeting, and those that do not. And that's where this becomes kind of more of a feel of an event, is that people can understand, and it's very clear how they drop in and they can meet people, how they can socialize around particular themes and particular subjects. And again, just kind of scroll through. And it's just, so it's nice and cohesive. And so just a little bit of an orientation, why do we structure it this way, is, so this is mobile friendly. As the screen changes and becomes smaller, the system will anamorphically kind of resize and reorganize and really optimally use the space for around the screen. So that's why it's organized this way. Just take you to another example, and this is one. This was this is kind of our demo site. We're actually going to give you a link at the end of this where you can go in and drop into this and just play around with it and get your own experience. But this is typically what we see for a simple online poster event. 4 or 5 tiles with some, maybe an agenda tile, welcome note, just explaining when you can drop in for it, when you can drop out, a panel discussion. In this particular case, it's saying, panel discussion is coming up at 2, but if you had one earlier, how you can record it and put it in here. So these can actually become very archival, so that, yes, it runs the virtual event, but after it ends, you can save these and put them in, and it's really easy to consume after the fact. And students love this, faculty love this. And then, so it's kind of setting the stage, and then you drop into the poster room. And again, like I said, you can kind of peruse through it. You can You set up your own standards of how you want these to render, what you want to include it in it. But these can become very rich presentations. And as you can see, the poster presents here, and you have full capability to change the sides and move around in it, depending on your screen size. But as you can see, you can organize some very rich information here. Again, as the communication, you can have the contact button, drop in and send an email. You can also rate these. This is a cool functionality where within this capability, you send an email to the individual, and within their account on their poster, they'll actually see the average rating that's given to them from the attendees. So that's a very simple functionality. We also provide very basic metrics of every time somebody drops in and views it, we give them a metric around that, so, which students really like. You can also do, as I mentioned before, I wasn't in the other example, book meeting, which drops right into your calendar, and you can book a meeting. As you can see, they're just one button switches from the interface directly into the interface. Same with dropping into a live call, but also comments. And this is actually a functionality that a lot of school, university programs love, because you can create a dialogue around the content. Often what happens is faculty go in and make comments, and students really like this. They can see how people are interfacing with their poster and get feedback. Especially if it's before the live portion, they might adjust their presentations based upon that feedback. And so that they can include, let's say, a video with it, maybe a short discussion. As I said, increasingly in these poster sessions, the organizers are requiring students to have a video, a short video, 3 to 5 minute video. But they can also embed live content. This is just showing a Google Maps. You can see I'm just kind of manipulating this within the template of the system. I can kind of move in and out and so on, and just manipulate it. We've seen ones around, let's say, pollution, infographics around pollution. And so these things can really become live capabilities, and then connections with kind of your ResearchGate, Twitter, your Facebook, one button into that. So you can provide very rich kind of ancillary material around it within an event, and then drop in and then go into the next one. So that's kind of, you can start seeing how these can become very rich events, much more than just pushing out information, but very interactive, very engaging. Here's another example. One particular school that organized this around what they called community engagement. So this was a live event open to the public. And it was actually around volunteerism, where they connected in there an engagement fair, where the charities were given a space where they can market themselves, and students could come in and sign up to do volunteer work. So you can start seeing how these become very sociable, very easy to implement, and very engaging. And again, they started off with a keynote, maybe a drop into their career center, a little discussion around workplace partnerships, and then drop into the engagement fair. Make these very sociable. And lastly, here, I'll just give you actually this another example. This one's with Ryerson University, with an open house, where they put in this functionality of an actual scheduler, so that they can organize very broad virtual events across the entire campus, organized on a scheduled basis. And that just drives you directly to that. So these are very robust systems. This is far more complex, but it shows you kind of the capability. And then lastly, This is a public, again, another public event being run at University of Toronto. It's actually being run this week. And it's kind of an offtake of a poster session. But this is around an entire week where each day has its own events. And it's around the subject matter of sustainability, where they ran events yesterday, which was around kind of food, healthy eating, sustainable eating facts, where they have kind of these different showcases and where I would have described them as posters before, but these are far more richer aspects where they had at a certain point of time yesterday, they were live. And now that it's captured and it now becomes archived, but it stays as part of the event because it's going on continuously through the week. And the students are just creating these around, not necessarily as a poster session for research, but around subject matter. And so it becomes very sociable, collegial. Today they're doing it on around the themes of Trashless Tuesday. So the theme is around how to use what is commonly used as trash and how it can be reused. And so they're actually a quasi poster session around that on a per student basis, showing how from trash that they made clothing from it. And each of these represent what students did on an individual basis. So you can see how this is beyond a typical poster, and that infographics capability that you can do, music themes, architecture, three-dimensional kind of publishing of research, and create these events into something that's far more interesting and really goes beyond kind of that traditional kind of concept of a poster session. And that's what we're trying to do in this talk, is just really show you the basics within how it's seen, but also how this is a very robust, flexible capability, and really think how you can make your campus come alive, or your event comes alive around themes, and make them fun, make them interesting, make them sociable. And we're seeing more and more schools do this. So anyway, that's kind of the live portion of kind of the demo. And I'll just kind of take you over to back to my presentation here. Sorry, just my there we go. Just moving this Zoom over so that I can get back into my presentation here. There we go. To create these is very simple. It's actually a 5-step process. It's basically choose your lobby configuration. We make it very simple. You have 5 different types of tiles that you can put into your poster session. Configure it as you like. Very simple discussion. Envision kind of the flow of what you want to achieve. Choose that. We build out a straw man. We send it to you. And then the next step is you get what we call an event creators account. You go in, you populate the pictures. You have control over that, so you can change them at any one time. You put in the titles, you put in the descriptions, and so on, often in an hour or two. And then you're ready to go. And then if you're going to have students who are creating accounts, or individuals who are creating posters to share in, we create a portal for you to sign in, to authenticate them into your system, to control who comes in. You invite them to come in, they create it. They can typically upload their poster in about 10 to 15 minutes, very simple. and then you give them a share code, and the share code is for the poster room, and they just simply put that in their poster, and they press find, and then they press share, and then it just populates it in. It's very simple. And then you just open it up to the public. It's that simple. And so these are created really fast, look very professional. They're mobile friendly. Often, for us, we can help you organize it in 24 to 48 hours. Typically for organizers, you need about a week to 2 weeks, and then it's a matter of inviting the students in. But it's a very simple 5-step process and very inexpensive. We have a simple package of that lobby, 5 tiles for your event, 50 posters, $500. And if you need another tile to go in there for your event, it's $50. If for every poster above 50, it's $10. We're very economical. We do a 1-hour planning session with you, plus a follow-up 30 minutes just to make sure that it's all developing as you like. And part of the consultation of just helping you to think through of how to make your event more than just a poster session. How can you make it live? Some of these other things, maybe communicate some of the best practices that we've seen in other school events. We provide you a video walkthrough for your students of how to create their posters and how to share it. That's customized to your event. We provide all the technical support for poster creators, so that's included. We give you a 90-day access window. So we start calculating that on the day it goes live. Often 1 week you open it up ahead of time, then you have, let's say, a 2 or 3 hour live portion, and then you keep it open for another 2.5 months. Students love it. They keep coming back. Or for faculty development, keep coming back. We have quite a few schools that are using it for that. And it becomes a resource, archived resource for the actual event that really is very helpful to the CTLs. And we, of course, provide a package of metrics on a per individual basis of each of the poster creators, but also on the event as a whole. So you understand how it was used, the total traffic and so on. So we provide that. Anyway, that's kind of the presentation. We'll open it up for Q&A. Hopefully you found this interesting, just to understand, as a virtual event, because we're finding out more and more schools want to run virtual poster sessions, but really don't understand, what does it really look like? How does it function? How easy is it to create it? How can this be more than just a poster session? Can it be a meaningful community event? And hopefully this was informative to kind of, in a very simplistic way, explain to you how that can be achieved. So I'll now open it up to questions. And also you can see here, if you want to play around with the demo, you can. It's this URL. And I'll leave it at that. Any questions?